All right. Hello, everybody. Sorry to keep you all waiting. How you doing, Chris?
What happened, dude? Why are you late? Tell us.
There's ever since I got this new blue iPhone 15 Pro. Oh, who is that? I don't know. 15 Pro Max. It's just the messages I've been getting on this phone, bro, have been like pretty insane. I don't know what it is, but the opposite sex just likes messaging me. You see how many unread messages? Oh wait, that's a 0. But you know what I mean? Like there's a lot of attention for the kid. I don't know what to tell you.
Whatever, man. How's your day going so far?
It's good. Carlos, we needed you 9 minutes ago. And now you're here. That's okay. You're here.
I literally just woke up. Like my wife was like calling me, man, like you have to go on the podcast. I was like, what?
Today's one of those days where I got fucking busy. VITALY can't make it. So I thought someone would be here early with Chris, but I was like, no, Carlos was probably.
I heard the WhatsApp going. No, I overslept. I just overslept. I was so
tired. I get it, man. Being a night owl sucks. Like literally, it's.
You know what it was? It was just I got that stupid like second wind when I got home. I was so tired when I got home. I just wanted to go to bed. And then I ended up like helping out with the morning routine with the kid.
Yeah.
Didn't get to bed till like 10 or 11. And that was it. Then I'm just ruined. Then I try to wake up around 3:30. And oh man.
Well, you wake up and look great. So that's
I feel like all puffy face. And I was actually going to ask you guys, what was the first words you uttered this morning? What was the first words that came out? The first words that you said today?
That's an interesting question.
I used to ask that people all the time, like every day. What you said today?
I was awake already, so my wife said, "What do you want for breakfast?" So I said eggs.
And you said,
"No, I just said eggs." No. We're in the relationship. We're in the relationship phase right now where we're just like spontaneous about it. It's just like, "Hey, what are you doing?" Nothing.
Throw down randomly in random acts of violence.
It's like, "What are you doing?" Nothing. Okay, good, because I'm coming.
Like you want to do something. Good morning, Garcia. Good morning, everybody. Tap to make 10 days. Yo, but I did buy today. If you're a member of our Discord, please AMIT or somebody from one of the wrench people.
It's in the description if you want to get on the
link in the description.
You want to get there.
I bought today. I bought like 2,000 of PayPal, and I bought like another grand of Innovix, plus my daily Bitcoin buys. What did you all buy today?
Google, baby. I've just been adding Google in the morning. And then I added TFC spreads again.
Dude, TFC got hammered today.
More spreads.
I still get hammered today. What are you talking about, man?
I mean, no, at one point, bro, it was at 26.80. I mean, it recovered a bit, but 26.80 25 is the 52-week low.
Now, guys.
It's all good, man. Give me those deals. I'll take them.
No, it's good. I think
for a return to the mean story, it's taken a while to return to the mean. People are staying for a long time.
George, thank you for joining. Thank you for becoming a member, bro. Appreciate it.
Thanks so much, man.
It's more about legislation than anything. Like last night, I actually wrote to the Federal Reserve because the Federal Reserve asked for comments on a proposed legislation. So they actually take everyone's opinion into perspective. So I actually wrote them like a nice lengthy email. I think it'll be posted soon. I have like the tracking number for it, but because like you can make public comments on things, so it'll be interesting.
Okay, so let's start off with Chris. Let's get you a little bit of bragging power here. You tweeted about a stock that you told us about a month ago that we kind of laughed at, that ended up doing really well. So let me share the screen right here, and I want you to kind of explain why you think this stock ended up doing well over the past couple of weeks. We are talking about Wingstop, up 22% versus the S&P this month. First of all, are you still in the position? Have you made some money? Have you sold? And
I got spreads, baby. I actually had some stock which I sold and just bought some spreads on it. So I'm pretty happy right now. I think some of the Patreon people I spoke to, Catherine, shout outs to Catherine. She actually asked me about it. So she was like, "What do you think, Chris? What is going on?" I was like, "Don't even worry about it. Everything's going to be fine." So Wingstop is finally doing what we needed to do. Sam, I'm sorry. Another one of my Patreon people, he sold with a little bit of a profit. So he made some money on it, but I wish he was still in it with us,
Oh, that's
but
why I
the
think he
Wingstop story
tweeted, he
continues.
22%
tweeted like
in a month.
no
That's
under
nice.
it or something.
Yeah. So congrats to people that are in the Wingstop area. But basically, I think the inflation story is a lot more contained than people think. I think we're headed into a lot of deflationary headwinds, and a lot of people are, still on this higher for longer binge. Even some of the people that have been pretty notoriously like, hawkish on inflation, they're starting to kind of turn around and, they're like, yeah, I think normal rate should be between 2 and 4%. And right now we're at 5.5. So that means that over time things will correct. So I think that we have a lot of things that are coming that are deflationary, and it's best to right now take the chance to invest in companies that have been negatively impacted by this sentiment around inflation being longer for forever, and make some good money on the way up once the recovery starts to come our way. Yeah. Oh, thanks, Mr. Duck. No, you're muted.
Thank you, Mr. Duck. I was going to say shout
Seymour
out to you.
Duck, yeah.
Speaking of Seymour Duck, because this guy's very bullish on this stock, let's get your updated thoughts on this one, Chris. Disney hit a new 14-year low or something today, or got to levels back in 2014. Sorry, I said it wrong. Any updates on what you were thinking right now, and if these guys can recover?
No, I think Disney's going to recover too. It's having its Netflix moment, like Netflix had last year, where everyone's like, "Oh, streaming is dead. No one's going to want to stream anymore." The content areas is bad. The thing is, I'm a little bit just more like, let me be a little data dependent, to borrow some words from the Fed. They are cracking down on password sharing. In certain areas, they're raising prices, so they're literally
that was really good for them. The password sharing thing, a lot of people thought, including myself, I thought that people would get upset because I share my password here and there, that people would get upset and either cancel the service or use it less. But no, that actually did really well for them. It brought in a lot of revenue.
Yeah,
they noticed a lot of news people subbing in, being like, well, all right, I use the service, might as well pay for it.
Yeah,
I
think at this point Disney understands that they have a little bit more pricing power, especially if they have good content, and some of the newer content that they have seems to be doing okay with the general public. So I think overall Disney is positioned for a strong recovery in 2024 and 2025. But once again, it's going to take time for it to happen. Like a lot of the same bearish arguments that were coming around Netflix were also coming around Disney right now. Disney's in the process of negotiating out of their Hulu deal, where they're going to be able to own 100% of Hulu and then probably broadcast, that internationally, and then make some money on DTC, their DTC business that way. So if they get operational cash flow in their streaming business, they're going to be doing pretty well, because the resorts and entertainment business is profitable. It's doing almost 12 billion a year in operating income. So, right now the short-term issues around this transition from streaming to DTC, all the major content publishers are working on ways to mitigate some of those losses, and eventually the business models will adjust, and you got to be there to capture the upside once that happens.
Sorry, I was muted.
Someone back in the chat.
Yeah. Zach, how do you join membership? I think if you go to our YouTube channel, just press the word join near subscribe. That should allow you to join membership. Okay, cool. So let's move on to this. This was a really interesting piece of news around GM. They secured a $6 billion credit line because the United Auto Workers strike is costing them about $200 million. And that's just GM, not the other companies involved as well. So we have no progress on this. No negotiations have hit any major stride lines. They're kind of like the Republican Party right now in terms of how they're dealing with this. Carlos, do you think this thing runs them into the ground, or do you think they eventually find a way out?
This is really going to hurt them. It's the worst possible time for this to be happening to them right now. What they need to be doing is they need to be making vehicles at a profit. I read somewhere, and again, the little bit of news that I've been able to read, I read somewhere that they're actually going to slow down the EV production, because the vehicles that they make money on are the ICE vehicles. and so they have to slow down EV production, or like Ford is closing down the F-150 plant. Keep me honest in the chat, guys, if I'm speaking incorrectly. But this is actually going to slow their EV adoption. So yeah, the line of credit is just it's a temporary patch, but the last thing these guys need is even more debt right now. I mean, do you understand how this is just the worst possible time for them? So I just think this is death throes. It's unfortunate, because if the entire company rallied behind them, including the workers, to make this transition at a time when they need them, they might have a chance of survival. But I think it's just accelerating the bankruptcies. You know, when you think about we always talk about a positive catalyst for Tesla. This is a positive catalyst for Tesla stock as these companies collapse.
Tesla actually did really well today as well. I think
it was the first time that the bad news was baked in. It was interesting. I was expecting.
Yeah, Tesla's at 261. They were up 6% today.
I was expecting it to. I read something that that's the highest options day ever on Tesla stock the other day. Did you guys hear something about that?
Why? Why do you think that's happening now?
I honestly, I don't know what's going on with that. I was actually looking to research some of that, but it was interesting at around this earnings. I don't know. I mean, Tesla hasn't really ever guided for shitty quarters before. I don't know. Maybe I think it had something to do with that. Maybe they shouldn't say to do with it. Yeah, but that's what investors want to hear. That this is the problem with those companies, Robert. This is the problem with those companies. They have too many masters. They have too many masters, and it's going to be difficult for them to please everybody. And anyone that they don't please hurts the stock, pisses away money. Yeah, it is. It's incredibly poorly managed. But it's been that way for a long time, because, like we said, this is what happens when you don't have a founder CEO. The person comes in to keep the train moving, keep the money train coming in for X number of years. They want to make their money and leave. Nobody wants to be in charge of the companies during this transition right now. You need to make some really hard decisions, and there's no guarantee that it's going to succeed. So I think these companies have been doing the CEOs have been doing the minimal possible for as long as possible. And another thing is, if they don't do what is being asked of them, they'll be outed anyway. So it's a no-win situation for these CEOs. And I don't know. I couldn't believe that this strike was actually happening, and I think it's only going to accelerate the bankruptcies.
Well, the problem here is that if the UAW gets what they want, that's gonna bring a lot of other industries to do the same exact thing. Like right now, the Kaiser workers around the country, for healthcare workers, they're on strike. You know, so the thing is, like, the minute,
like right
and
now?
I think
my wife was there the other day.
I think so. I thought I heard it today. Kaiser.
Let's look it up and read an article.
Yeah.
Kaiser is what type of company again?
Healthcare. They're hospitals. They're hospital or
so everyone's going on strike, bro. Everyone's like
Kaiser Permanente healthcare workers begin strike. Yeah.
Wow.
So you guys see this?
For higher wages? That's why you think they're doing it?
Well, there's a couple of things that are really problematic with healthcare. Number one is, I think a lot of people assume that healthcare workers just want more money, but the truth is, it actually comes down, depending on which job title you're in, it's just the amount of patients that you have to take care of, you know, on a per person basis. Like, if you ask a nurse, one of the most difficult things with being a nurse is not taking care of a patient or taking care of a few patients. It's when they try to load you up, like, oh, you can do 6 patients, you can do 7 patients, you can do 8 patients, and you have to constantly be monitoring more than one patient. And, you know, not more than one, but you have to be constantly monitoring a higher and higher number of patients. And especially depending on which floor you work on, that could be really bad. Like, you could be in a position where sometimes you'll go to like the nurse's station and there's nothing to do and everything is just chill. But then also, when shit hits the fan, like, you got to be up and alert and get on it, you know? So I think what happens is the staffing levels are what actually is the main like driver behind a lot of these strikes.
If you're a hospital that has a ton of patients, how do you resolve the situation if you have a limited number of nurses?
Like, you got to hire more nurses. You hire more nurses.
So they want more people to be hired. That's their demand.
Yes. Yeah. So the thing is, right now, in order for you to hire a nurse, right, you have to pay a certain amount to get a good nurse, right? And you have to have a certain level of staffing in order to like maintain patient safety, because the last thing you want to do is, like, me as a healthcare provider, I don't want to work in a hospital system where I have to, like, you pay me $150,000 a year, but you give me like 10, 20 patients to manage, and I end up losing my license because I fuck up on a patient. Like, that does me no good. Like, you could pay me all the money you want. That's not going to help me. Instead, make sure that I have a partner or 2 other nurses with me that are actually helping me deal with issues when they actually arise. You know, so safe staffing levels is what nurses and a lot of healthcare workers are always actively pushing for, not necessarily just money. I think a lot of people think that, you know, healthcare workers, they just want more money. And the truth is, it's not the money for a lot of them. It's actually turns out to be better staffing conditions and better staffing levels.
What you're saying is going to happen. That's the end game of that. Where people start to actually die, or the care gets done, or instead of 50 milligrams, they write 500 milligrams and somebody ODs. Like, that's actually going to happen. And what I think is, I mean, do you see that this is like a play to start replacing some of these people with AI?
No, I think we as society just have to do a couple of major things. Number one is we live a very unhealthy lifestyle. So the number of people that are always constantly in and out of hospitals and everything else, like, dude, we have one of the highest rates of obesity on the planet.
Bro, but let's talk about that for a second.
A whole other conversation.
You bringing that up is important, though. Is there anything the United States can do, going back to the conversation from yesterday, given we're a free society, that could somehow, because Michelle Obama, her whole 8 years as the first lady, her campaign was eat healthy. That didn't do anything, right? We still have so, like, is there actually anything we can do as a consumer society that loves McDonald's and all that stuff that can get us to stop being so fat?
I mean, to be fair, it all comes down to one of the consequences of us being a free society, and that we give the choice to the people, saying, look, you as an individual have to make the right choices. So you can't make choices for them. What you can do is basically make things that are, how do I say this? Like, push people in the right direction. That's all you can really do. At the end of the day, everything is about personal responsibility, right? So as an example, like smoking, a lot of people smoke, right? Now, everyone knows smoking causes all sorts of issues and cancers and everything else, yet people still smoke. Why? You know, like, because you think about it.
Morris has a great ESG score.
But that's the
ESG score. I mean,
but that's what I'm saying, that these are things that, like, you can't control human behavior, like, and so you have to do things around controlling human behavior without jeopardizing the aspect of freedom. So I don't know what the solution is.
How do you? I don't know. We love McDonald's. We love Chick-fil-A. I mean, like,
yeah.
Okay, without getting overly political, those things that's not the desired effect. That's not the desired goal here. That's not what's desired. If you want to be healthy, that is a personal decision that you have to make, and it is counter to almost everything in the culture.
No, I agree. Right? I agree.
We demonize people that work out. We call them right-wing people. You know, we demonize, or at least it's part of the culture. We'll demonize people that want to work out or exercise. They paint them as wanting to be better than other people. Fast food is infinitely cheaper than healthy food, and we squeeze people financially. What do you think they're going to buy? What do you think they're going to buy? My wife works near this supermarket that's sort of like it's like a bargain, like a discount supermarket. What do you think? People coming out of these, people trying to stretch their money are coming out of these supermarkets with shopping carts full of just sugar water. It's like, you know, whatever that no-name brand soda is, you can buy a 3-liter of it for like 89 cents, and it's just pure sugar water. And they're coming out with carts of this thing, and kids, you know, overweight kids hanging out in the.
But then, Carlos, how do you resolve this? Is going to Chris's point, if the health epidemic, like these striking nurses, are the root cause of it, is too many people are unhealthy because they're eating all this shit, and that would solve, not AI would solve this, like literally just people eating healthy would solve some of the nursing problems. Is there anything as a society we can do to encourage healthy eating, or you think it's just not possible?
It's a personal choice. It's a personal choice. That's why like people like us respect it so much. You know, when you respect it so much, when someone like you, every morning you get up and decide to go to the gym, right? There's nothing I can mandate to make you go to the gym. Yeah. You just have to look in the mirror and be like, I don't like this guy.
Yeah.
Or that's not me, right? I've got to want to change that guy. And I'm going to want to go in there and go and eat healthy. It's actually a lot harder than it is to be healthy now. If you think about what a Snickers bar costs you versus like something healthy.
Yeah, that Snickers bar is getting expensive, bro. It's getting up to $2 a bar.
Try eating healthy.
the other thing is we also have a huge drug problem, like an opioid epidemic right now. So you have so many people like drug addicts on the street. And yes, so a lot of people are like, oh, we should encourage safe needle use sites where basically you can go and
Ridiculous. Now,
inject
you see
yourself.
that guy got stabbed
Now,
in New York. The guy got stabbed
Yeah, I saw
now,
that.
2 days
I
ago.
saw that.
now the problem is when you allow behavior like this to continue, right? And you just say, oh, you know what? It's not hurting anyone but the person. And we kind of don't want them to share needles because that will cause like massive levels of infection of HIV and everything else. So these safe use sites, they had a good intention, but they ended up causing a lot of problems in the back end. So now I think there's an entire economy of people like NGOs that have been created to basically support a drug habit, and like they get money for supporting their drug habit, like, you know. And then the pharmaceutical companies, they came in and said, look, we want to save people, so we created, we have this medication called Narcan, which basically if you're overdosing, like they'll hit you with Narcan and it'll bring you back to, it'll bring you back. And it's so effective that now people are almost like not as worried about dying from overdoses anymore because they can get
Right.
hit by Narcan.
When did they
So
come up
it's
with Narcan? When did that become a thing? Recently?
I'm not exactly sure. No, I'm not exactly sure. It wasn't that long ago.
Mm.
So, but it's one of those things. It's just, it's like the cat and the mouse, man. Like how do you control how do you control the drug culture? Like number one is how do you control how do you control the population from from the drug epidemic, right? And by the way, the drug epidemic, one of the main causes, the opioid epidemic, was the pharmaceutical industry pushing painkillers that might have been a little bit more over prescribed, and then people got addicted to that. So now there's actually a whole bunch of people that are addicted.
So this gets even
yeah.
deeper. I mean, this does get deeper. It's more about mental health for the need for people to take opioids more so than.
Well,
No.
It might start that way, but it becomes a
Yeah.
physical addiction. It becomes a
Yeah.
physical addiction at a certain point, because when you start replacing those sort of when you start replacing those your body's natural drugs with these pills, it becomes really hard to get off of them. And I know this, like my dad struggled with this stuff, and so I know what it was like. Like it's easy to get somebody onto those medications, but to take them off, it requires a really sort of planned a very planned, structured way that you have to get the people to wean off of these things. If not, you can cause some serious problems.
I mean,
don't mess with your brain, guys. Like, try your best never to mess with your brain. It's painful to watch.
And to be fair, one of the problems is because of our freedom, we say to people, oh, don't do drugs. But if you do drugs, it's okay because we're going to let you, safely inject. No, you should be taking them, putting them in an institution that gets them clean. Like invest your dollars in getting people clean, not support the drug habit and let it continue. Like you've seen some of these like parts in the city, like in Philadelphia, you drive through them, bro, there's fucking drug addicts, open air drug markets. Like in LA, you're in LA, so Carlos, like some parts. Like how are we a modern society allowing this to fucking continue right under our noses? It makes no sense whatsoever.
But it does make sense if you think about what the incentives are. Look at Ren's comment. Doctors are incentivized to prescribe them. This is what it is. It's a money-making business. I hate to sound like that guy, but there are people and corporations that really don't have the best intentions for us. And you have to do everything in your power to personally avoid falling victim to these traps. That's what it is. They're setting the trap. I don't remember when the term came out, but we don't have healthcare in this country. We have disease care, right? So you have things that create the diseases, then you have things that treat the disease, and you want to keep people just medicated. I mean, you've seen these guys on Twitter or on X posting like the number of daily medications that they take. I mean, it's like 50, 60 pills. How many people have this unbelievable pill salad that they have to take?
I have the solution to this though. It's a very easy solution.
He's like, don't let any of them vote.
No. Well, number one, don't let them vote. Yeah. No, we should make a giant blender in the middle of the country. And if you're a drug dealer and you get caught dealing drugs, we should take you and put you right into that blender and just, turn it on a human blender. Just mix them up. Human blender. You know,
what do you do with
You got a
the?
lot
you
of
look
creative
at-
ideas, my guy.
if you
Yeah,
have,
you gotta-
if you,
I
if
wouldn't,
look
you know,
at-
I wouldn't lead with that one as your political platform.
When the presidential campaign,
Yeah, when you're in the
a
debates,
little-
I would like just
you
bury
don't
that on your
like
website.
you don't understand some of the consequences of these people poisoning people. Like, dude, you are intentionally out there fucking poisoning people and killing families, dude. But that was, by the way, that was just a joke. But
Not really.
I do think that we need to have such severe laws in place that it makes this unfathomable. So as an example, if you go to like Singapore, they don't have a drug problem. You know why? Because every single drug dealer that they have, they just fucking kill them. Death penalty.
Kill
Because
them, bro.
The penalty is the penalty is like death. The penalty is
most
wild.
if you get caught smuggling drugs, it's a death penalty. And I think it's like it's quick.
Yeah.
It's quick. You don't sit around for years. You don't get on social media campaigning to
I mean, because if you are the one giving drugs to somebody and it kills them, you basically are an accessory to that murder.
To murder, yeah.
You know, so at this point, just put you in a giant fucking blender and smoothie you out and feed you to the sharks. I'm cool with that. I don't care.
Drug smoothie. The other thing that's happening too is as more of these drugs are being prescribed to people, there's people that test the water as they throw out their old pills. This is actually getting into the water table and it's making its way. As people throw them out in the toilet, it gets into our water supply. I forgot a study that I had read where they tested the water in New York City, and it actually has traces of a lot of these chemicals, a lot of these opioids. People are getting addicted without even knowing it, or just getting trace elements of it because it's in the water.
This is what the Jordan Petersons of the world and all these guys talk about, which is like, if you have no purpose in life, then you're going to turn to this shit. And I think it makes a lot of sense. If you have no purpose, especially as a man, you turn to drugs, like something to save you from the tragedy. So this is at least what Vivek is talking about. Like, we need to inspire national identity, purpose. I know it sounds like fairy tale-ish, but he's right. Like, you got to have some purpose for people in order for them to not.
That's the underlying issue that's trying to be addressed. Like when KRIS and I were talking yesterday about needing to pass
that to the vote. Yeah.
And you should appreciate where you are. Look, as shitty as this country is, we do live in probably the best country in the world right now. Like, where would you move? As much as you want to complain about the United States, where would you move? So having
one
some
of the
sort
things
sense of patriotism or love of country, I think, is a basis of what you're saying of that purpose.
One of the things that I would not be opposed to is sanctioning countries that allow these drugs to come into our markets and through proxies. Like, I know a lot of times what happens is Chinese fentanyl makers will send their shit to Mexico, and then the Mexican drug cartels will, smuggle it over the border and here into the US. Dude, at this point, I don't give a shit. Put people on the fucking border and shoot these motherfucking cartel members. I don't care. I really don't. I think American citizens are dying at the fucking thousands of levels. We invaded a country. We fucking invaded multiple countries because they attacked us and they killed a couple of our, what do you call it, with the terrorism thing.
Citizens.
Yet this crisis is going unabated and saying, you know what, it's fine, whatever. They're just killing a bunch of drug addicts. No, the loss of human potential is so fucking like mind. And I'm sorry that I'm being a little bit more hyperbolic with my comments, but that's because I work in the healthcare industry and I've seen the effects of this shit, dude. Like, it's not something that you would want to put even your worst enemies through, like in terms of like drug addiction, because this thing fucking destroys families, man. Like, healthy families, one person gets addicted to drugs and it just it fucking tears through them and society. So I'm all for punishing the shit out of drug dealers, dude. I have no qualms about it. I think these motherfuckers should all just be put in a giant blender and turned into smoothies for the sharks. That's it.
Yeah. Well, you're not wrong. I do think that the punishments need to be way more severe. Did you hear that? Like, Florida enacted said the death penalty for people that
child molesters.
Child molesters.
That seems like common sense. I don't even understand.
There were people on Twitter that had an issue with it.
There were people on X that had.
I think if you sexually abuse someone who's 12 years or younger, you die. That's Florida. That's the new policy.
Yeah, I agree with that. Totally cool with it. Totally cool with
I mean, look, whether you mandate it or not,
we could. I just thought of something.
They're dead anyway.
We can use the human smoothie maker for these guys too. Just save up on electricity bills. We don't need 2 smoothie blenders. You
don't think do it the North Korean style? 12 hours of hard labor for 50 years or until you die, whichever comes first.
Nah, the smoothie blender is
hard labor, 7 days a week. You know,
Nah, man, smoothie blender it is, bro. Easy enough, you know.
you think these useless eaters.
It's interesting though, because the future of the country relies on obviously a competent civilization. And if I don't know what percentage of civilization is hooked, like I learned about opioids like last year. I mean, I heard of the word, but I didn't realize there was an opioid problem. Because I guess I'm in New Jersey, I'm in my own bubble,
It's
I'm on the coast.
crazy.
I was like, opioids? Who the fuck is taking? I was like, that sounds like some crazy drug. I know there's weed and heroin and cocaine, opioids.
It
And then
frequently
apparently that's
surprises
the
me.
issue we're having.
It frequently surprises me how incredibly knowledgeable in certain things you are, but then at the expense of like certain basic things. Like, you've
Yeah,
never watched
like
The
there's
Godfather.
people in Kansas that are overdosing on opioids, right? It's like Midwest, like a southern, like kind of more poor people that work on farms and shit. These are the people that are taking opioids apparently, or like homeless people in San Francisco.
And when I mean drugs, I'm not saying weed. All right, weed is just like whatever. That's at this point decriminalizing.
Midwest
weed.
cannabis is like,
Yeah.
he's like, woo, he's like $10, guys. It's $10.
Yeah.
Thank you, Big Ray, for the super chat. Appreciate you, bro.
Yeah, no, I'm talking about hardcore drugs that can actually kill people. You know, like the cracks of the world, the meth of the world, the opioids of the world, fentanyl. Like these are things that, you know, if you get caught dealing fentanyl,
did you hear about
that?
that?
To the smoothie blender.
Did you hear about that fentanyl ring that was being operated out of a daycare and they killed like 12 kids? They were like poisoning the kids in the daycare. This is the kind of stuff that my wife will send me. Be like, we have to be careful, you know. And there was like some people that were using that as a front to like cook the stuff. I'm like, oh my god, what is wrong with people? Like, seriously,
they should be in KRIS's smoothie blender first. I nominate them to go first. You know,
we're too lax. I'm sorry, you're too lax on people. When you like, there's two ways to incentivize people. There's the carrot or the stick, and sometimes the carrot doesn't work. You gotta bring out the stick. And we're so scared to bring out the stick sometimes because we don't want to be seen as barbaric, or I don't know. I don't know what's going on.
So have you guys ever been high on a prescription drug? Because I have. My back got strained 2 years ago, and I took some 500 milligram extra strength Tylenol. I know I sound like a bitch because everyone takes that, but I took it. I took 3 of those pills. I know you guys are like, what? And I swear to God, bro, I was buzzing. Like I was like, oh,
you got high off ibuprofen?
Yeah, ibuprofen, bro. I was just like, I literally no, I swear to God, bro. I was walking around the room like, is this what it's like to be in Breaking Bad or something? Like I literally felt high off my mind because my back was in so much pain. So I guess it gave me that sensation. But here's the thing. I fucking liked it. That shit was cool, bro. I was floating, and I was floating, and then the next day my back wasn't hurting, and I was thinking of popping another. I was like, no, shouldn't do this. But have you guys ever been like high on a pill before, like Percocet or anything like that?
Bring up Garcia.
To take Vicodin. I had
Garcia
to take Vicodin
at 439. Yeah, Vicodin. Garcia 439. There was one year for Valentine's Day. I took my girlfriend at the time to snowboarding, and within the first 10 minutes that I went snowboarding, I broke my wrist. It was on the East Coast. By the way, guys, never snowboard on the East Coast. I broke my wrist. I shattered it. And all the hospitals were closed, so I had to deal with it over the weekend. And so they prescribed me Vicodins. Oh, my God. And it was strong because I had to leave it broken for like 3 days till I could see a doctor. And yeah, it's incredibly strong. Within half an hour, all the pain was gone. I was joking with her at the time. I was like, you can't even hurt my feelings right now. You know, I'd be like, there's nothing you can do or say. It was a really good sort of base level feeling.
But you would want to do it again, right? Like if you had, like, it's one of those.
Well, I definitely look. They gave me way more than what I needed, and I don't know. I had maybe 6 or 7 of these pills left, and I would use them when I was just like, I want to feel good. Just take it.
I'm telling you, I was high off ibuprofen. That shit was amazing.
And I could have gotten it refilled. Like I could have gotten the prescription refilled, but I was the same as you. I was like, I don't know if I should be doing this, you know. But I remember there was a guy at a company I used to work at. He was like a kind of a high level guy, and we would work together sometimes on like some of the high profile jobs. They'd have to bring him in to do it, and he always had pills. Everyone knew he had pills. So sometimes he would go there. He'd be like, "Yo, you want to go work? What do you want to take? You want some? I want to take some Vikes, or what was the other one that was around like in like the 2000s? It was
Xanax.
No,
is that a thing?
No, for pain. It's like 2 or 3 of those pills. I forgot, but he had these like horse pills. And yeah, we would go in there. Oh, I had a toothache. That's what it was. I had a bad toothache, or like a root canal or something popped out. And he was like, "Oh, I got something for you." He gave it to me, bro. And I was like, I don't even remember what we edited that day. I was like, oh man, my other tooth.
All right, let's get back to
Percocet. That's what
stocks,
it was. It was Percocet. Yeah, it was Percocet.
Yeah, let's get back to stocks, man. I'm sure I lost some fans with my smoothie blender comment, or I gained some fans. I don't know, either one.
Okay. Thank you to 340 people being here. Tim Cook sold 511,000 shares.
Bro, stop showing her thing, dude. Stop showing her thing. She doesn't know anything about anything.
Look at how cute she is. How do you hate her, Chris? How do you hate this
because she doesn't know shit about shit. Just stop, please. The fact that she has a CFA pisses me off even more. Like, it's just I gotta
go to Chris's tweet. Chris responded.
No, I don't know.
It was so funny, bro. Chris was like, "Do you know anything, bitch?"
I didn't say that. I didn't say that.
That's exactly what you were thinking, even if you didn't type it.
And she's like, "Oh my god, look, Tim Cook is selling Apple, bro. He's a fucking multi-billionaire that owns like 3 million fucking shares of Apple. Like, stop. Like, that's not."
And half of them were for taxes, by the way. Half of his shares.
Yeah, it's a nothing burger.
Bro, she has. I heard she got paid $75,000 in her newsletter to promote a stock. It was a biotech stock. They said leaked like a year ago. I sent you guys this article because I don't know how many subscribers she has, but 75 grand to promote a stock. That's what happens when you're big in the finance niche and you have these hundreds of thousands. And she doesn't even tweet anything interesting, bro. She doom tweets all day about a recession. It's like worse than CNBC because it's like barely any analysis around it either. And yeah, she's built her following based on that.
That's the danger of when you get too big. I think it's still a ways off, but I think we'll have to deal with some of that. You'll have that sort of come to Jesus moment. Like, are we going this route? Are we making the deal? Or are we not? That's one of the things I like about having such a backlog of episodes to keep us honest.
Yeah.
But I do think that
all right, let me put the link in the chat if anyone wants to join. If you have any topics as well, please put it in the chat.
So one of the conversations that we were having before, I need to tell my wife she needs to stop messaging me while we're having the pod. Like, I'm not going to respond to you. I don't know why she keeps doing that. I hope you're watching, honey, because I know you're watching. You know.
What did she say? Is it an important text or is it
going to be some angry?
Is it like a fun little flirty?
Yeah, it's flirting. No. She's sending him. She's sending him news right
so
now.
I'll read it. I'll read it to you.
All right, what do you say?
Sounds like you need a qualified clinical pharmacist specializing in emergency medicine on your pod. Okay. Because she's an emergency pharmacist.
Ooh.
And then she's like, "You guys are killing me." And then she wrote cringe. I guess she cringed at my like smoothie blender comment. But like, I've been honest with her. I told her last time, I was like, we should make a smoothie blender out of murderers and rapists and drug dealers, you know. So that's nothing like that. I'm telling you guys, but not telling her. Like,
bro, I love that she's saying cringe on your pod. She's like, L take cringe. You suck on the pod. She's like keeping you honest, bro. I love it.
And then she's like,
you guys have the
we'll give you guys
flirting rituals.
Yeah.
All right, let's welcome in a guest. TJ.
Yeah.
What's up?
Hey, TJ.
How are you? What's up, guys?
Oh shit, I was watching you this morning. I was watching your live stream this morning.
Awesome, brother. Appreciate that.
And I'm sorry. And before we go, I do have a bone to pick with you, Amit, because I was watching your live stream this morning.
What did I say? What did I do?
I looked in the description under your live stream, and it said, and you said, I have a Patreon. And it's only $1 because I want people to support. Do you know how much shit you gave me and VITALY for having a $1 tier on our Patreon? Do you remember how you would make fun of us for having the 99 cents?
You guys inspired me to do that.
Oh yeah, right. You see, this is the hypocrite. You didn't think I was going to find out.
But now I pay $10 a month for your Patreon that I never used to support.
Right, but the point is, when we had the 99 cents thing, $1, we were like, just get people in, just general support the channel, blah blah blah.
I did make fun. If February changed, I was like, $1? Why the fuck?
You know, I'm calling you. I did my rounds this morning. Anyway,
but see, the reason I charge $1 is because I don't do any exclusive content. Like Chris can charge more because he's on that shit all day. I charge $1 just for support, you know. So it makes sense. But you guys are doing actual shit on the Patreon, so you
thank you guys. What's up, Wheel Deal?
Chilling it, brother. I want to talk real quick about my newest position.
Hold on. Before you say it, let's do a little guessing. Is it in the AI space? Yes or no?
No, I already loaded up on Palantir a couple weeks ago.
Okay, all right. Is it in the crypto mining space? Yes or no?
No, I've got way too much marathon and ride already. I'm done with that shit.
Okay, is it in the bank? Is it in the fintech banking space?
Yeah, it is. All because of y'all's damn channels. I'm gonna blame this trade on.
Okay, so I'm no. He already has SoFi. Let's all three take a guess, and we can't have the same guess. I'm doing PayPal. Carlos, what's your guess?
SoFi. I mean,
he already has SoFi. He has SoFi.
Oh, I watched the live.
Pick a different one.
I think he loaded up on more SoFi.
Okay.
Social finance.
Chris, what do you got? I think it's PayPal.
Now you think about it, I think it's PayPal now. Yeah, because he already had SoFi.
Well, $57. That is true. It even got me at $58.
20.
Oh,
2,100 shares of PayPal.
There we go.
2,100 shares. Dude, I've been trying to avoid this stock like a like a fucking girl that's bad news. You've heard all around town that she's a hoe, but you want to see for yourself.
Yeah.
Dude, I just can't. I'm price drunk on it. Like, walk me through it, Chris. You're the voice of reason on the channel. Tell me why it's still overpriced and why I should be looking for the 40s, because everything's overpriced to you. You're like master value investor.
That's talking a blender.
The biggest challenge to PayPal isn't the valuation. It's all headlines around FedNow. So their business is doing fine. They're making money. Unlike a lot of the other fintechs out there that are not making money whatsoever, SoFi is not making money. Okay. What do you call it? Cash App is not making money. They have negative earnings, but PayPal is profitable. They actually have a buyback program. So it makes total sense. The problem is majority of their revenue and their business is coming from transactional business. So the question is, number one, they have a brand new CEO. Is he going to be able to perform well like the past, or is PayPal just going to, fade into non-existence? That's number one. Number two, with the FedNow changes that are coming and availability of FedNow, how is that going to end up in the adoption curve, and how will that affect PayPal's profitability? So I think at this point, if those two questions are answered, then PayPal will be a good company. Right now, the valuation isn't the problem. It's the future uncertainty that's driving.
So Chris, let me ask you a question. If the valuation isn't the problem, they got 2 price upgrades to $100 over the past couple of days. I'm going to try to pull those up. Do you think that's when to be a shark like TJ? Like, all right, if it's not valuation, if it's headline,
$7, dude.
Yeah.
It's $57, even if it gets
how much you got? 3,000 shares, TJ? That's how much you got?
2,100 shares collectively at about 57 and some change. I don't know if it's the bottom or not for this cycle, but I think that we're within 15% of the bottom. So to me, that's close enough. I shoot at the target, guys, but I'm not bullseyeing anything. That's why I use a shotgun against the shares and lower my adjusted cost.
Wait, so you spent over $100,000 today then?
Well, it was yesterday was 1,100 shares, and then today another 1,000 shares, because I'm divesting eventually from Neo. So I'm moving those monies over because Neo, I've already manufactured the win there, and I want a little bit more stability in the company, because I think whenever shit gets tough, you want to really focus on higher conviction plays. So I'm essentially scaling out of more speculative plays and going with surefire singles and doubles, because that's where it wins too. So I just don't think the macro environment to be swinging for the fences, because you're going to strike out more often than not. So instead of just to use a baseball analogy, I'm not trying to be Aaron Judge in this market. I'm more comfortable being Ichiro Suzuki from back in the day.
I don't know who those are, but I feel you.
Gets on base over and over, and he scores a bunch of runs.
Yeah.
And I think that's it's a solid single, maybe a double. It's not a 10-bagger.
If you're looking for a 10-bagger, Nubank, that's the one that you really need to pay attention to.
I can't do Nubank for a very personal reason, because my wife knows David from Stanford, and she was all congratulatory on his fucking LinkedIn, and oh my god, congratulations on your success. So fuck that guy. I'm never investing in Nubank.
Wait, hold on. I thought you were gonna
say insider trading. I thought you were gonna.
Yeah, you don't like him because your wife.
Because he's good at what he does, and she was just like giving him the props, and I acted jealous and machismo and all that stuff. Hey, dude,
men think in one way, bro.
I'm full transparency.
So you didn't invest in a stock because the founder knows your wife, and your wife congratulated him on his.
That isn't why. It's because the options chain sucks for my will strategy.
Okay, that's a better answer. But the
first
answer was funnier. The first answer was
public opinion.
But there is a little validity to her thinking that he's good at his job, and he is. You know what I mean? You can't argue with Nubank's results, right? I mean, the shit is legit.
The dude is a bit Rico Suave. I'm not gonna lie. The guy is a little.
What's his name? What's his full name?
Good looking dude, hella fucking rich. I mean, I gotta put my shit on high alert, bro.
Oh yeah, bro. This guy is sexy.
He's suave.
This guy might be my my background tomorrow on my new iPhone 15 Pro Max.
There you go. Yeah. His wallpaper's
Look
gonna
at
get
this guy.
Dude, I don't want to see
Look
this
at
fucking
him.
guy on the screen. Fuck that guy.
Look at this guy. Look at him acting all CEO,
That's not cool.
professional.
No,
You know
but
he,
Look at that.
you know he took
bring
a
up his
pay cut.
LinkedIn page. Bring up his LinkedIn page. See, let's see what his wife was looking at there when she's commenting.
That's not his
Oh,
wife,
hey, what's
dude.
up?
Oh wait, no, this
No,
is
he
his wife
said
right there.
no. TJ
That is
said
his wife.
his wife was commenting. Oh, you see?
Yo, he sold 190. Bro, this how? What's his net worth? What's this guy's net worth? Net worth. He's wow.
Sad. This
7
is sad.
billion.
This is sad.
41.
Hey,
Yeah, he went to
babe, did you know that
Stanford.
David's a billionaire now?
Who's a
Yeah,
billion?
7.2 billion, baby. Crazy.
You're just gonna see a hand come in, and TJ's camera's gonna go black.
That's cool. Okay, so PayPal. So you're on the PayPal train with us. All of
I'm
us
on
are
the PayPal train. I've been watching a lot of Tanner's videos. You guys have talked about it.
Tanner will
You
make
guys
you a
have talked
believer.
about it on this channel a lot. And man, dude, I just think the floor's got to be. But I mean, I'm banking on they just got a new CEO going, right? So I want to give him a few quarters just to see what's up. But I'm selling calls against these shares. I got to bring some money through the door. So yeah, I tied up about 115 grand, but that's going to generate, I feel like, probably in the neighborhood of $2,000 a month in premium. So that's a hell of a manufacturer.
Oh, you got cash secured puts on them. You didn't actually buy the shares yet.
No. I bought the shares and I sold covered calls immediately.
Oh, okay, got you.
So that's called a buy right strategy. Technically, you buy and then you write covered calls against your shares to reduce your cost basis from day one. And I have a covered calls at 59 for this coming Friday, and I'm going to keep doing them weekly.
Oh, is that what you
premium
do? You sell them to expire for the week?
Yeah, for this, just on this particular trade, it's on a very short leash, guys, because I'm not, the conviction is very low right now because I'm just getting into it. So I gotta have it in the portfolio so that I can get comfortable with the trading range. Because it's one thing to put your charts on Yahoo Finance and Trading View and all that stuff, but dude, until you have money, until you have skin in the game, you're not really looking at the shit. So there's a lot of seasoned traders, and I'll give you all this trick. It's called a one share trick. If you really want to monitor a stock,
buy one share,
and you'll look at the shit on a daily.
Yeah.
Because a lot of stocks trade within a range, and it seems to me that PayPal's been hanging out here between this $57 and $64, $65 range for a hot minute. And I think it's just a matter of time. It's either got to take another leg down or it's got to bounce from here, but I don't think it's going to stay here.
But when you sell those calls for a week out, what percentage over its current price do you sell them out? 25%?
So it was at about 57, 70 or so,
right,
collectively, and I sold them at $59.
Oh, so you saw them really close.
Yeah.
That's why you get a higher premium.
But what's the premium? What's the premium on that?
So I collected about 7. Hold on, give me a second.
So it needs to be over like $65.
Yeah, but it doesn't matter, bro, because I can roll. These aren't the 10 commandments from Moses, bro. You can make adjustments, right?
All right, TJ, while you're pulling that up, Chris, go ahead and do this thing here. You're muted, bro.
Chris.
So this is the story behind PayPal in terms of just the raw numbers. Okay, the sentiment is one thing that you can punish this company for all you want. If you look at this valuation historically, it's trading at like the lower end of its valuation on a price to book basis. So for most fintechs, they'd be at a much higher price to book. PE ratios have come down significantly, primarily because their growth has also come down significantly. Price to sales has also come down significantly. But overall, if you look at PayPal right now, they're still growing their revenues. You see this? They have not slowed down the revenue growth at all, really. It's done exceptionally well. And at the same time, their operating margins have also been improving. They also did a lot of layoffs, so their operating income on a TTM basis, on a 12-month trailing basis, is finally starting to reaccelerate. So this is always a good sign that they're headed in the right direction. The question is, are they able to maintain that? And then on top of this that we're looking at, you look at their cash flows. The cash flows are also amazing because they're utilizing their additional cash flow to buy back a crap ton in shares. So we'll just look at it on a quarterly basis. So every quarter, their EPS number gets higher and higher because look at the amount of share buybacks they're doing on a per quarterly basis. Almost $1 billion of buybacks per quarter right now. Well, actually, almost 1.4 billion. 1.4 billion, 950 million. So net issuance of debt, they don't have any debt whatsoever that they have to worry about. They're generating free cash flow on top. But this is to me, this is a no-brainer outside of just the sentiment issues that they're dealing with the whole Fed now thing. And that's the only thing.
So this is the spreadsheet, the wheel tracker, guys, and I'm easy. Email me if you guys want a copy of this. This thing is like a little accountant on steroids. Highly recommend it. But essentially, guys, I got these shares collectively for cost basis of 57.69, and so you'll see the two separate buys are 1,000 shares at 57.52, 1,000 shares at 57.86. So we forked out, 115, 380 for the shares, but then we brought in 350 for the first batch of covered calls for Friday, and then but that was on 10-3. These were actually on 10-2. There's a typo there. Let me fix that. And then on 10-4 today, I sold the other covered calls expiring this Friday. Now, the dynamics of a covered call is if I don't do anything and these shares go over $59, they get called away from me. If I don't do anything and they're below $59 on expiry on Friday after the market closes, you have about a 30-minute window there, then I keep the shares. Either way, in those scenarios, that those monies that they gave me via premium, $620 are mine to keep. Either way. So that goes to lower your adjusted cost basis, right? So right now I have an adjusted cost basis of 57.38, but I do not plan on selling these shares, guys. I'm going to keep these shares. If it breaches my strike price on Friday, I will buy to close this existing contract, and then I'll sell to open an additional contract for a different expiration date and maybe increase my strike price to 60 or 61 if necessary. And I'm going to keep writing them up that way. But if PayPal stays flat or down, because I think that the sentiment is horrible and it's very hard to quantify market sentiment, especially when it's negative, I need to bring some premiums through the door. I got to get paid something to hold these shares, because if not, the risk reward just isn't there for me. I can't buy, hold, and hope with this kind of money in this environment. I just don't. I think it's irresponsible.
Do you look at the premiums that the premiums that you're getting at specific strike prices to decide which one? Like, are you looking for the highest premium, the highest weekly premium? Like
no, if I would have done that, then I would have picked the 58 strike. The closer to the yard to the current market price, like the higher likelihood of the shares getting called away.
Exactly, but also the higher the premium. But considering,
but I wanted a little capital appreciation, guys. Because 2,000 shares, it goes up $1. That's $2,000. You follow me?
I hear what you're saying, but I'm saying if you plan to roll them anyway, if you're going to roll them anyway,
if I need to, I'm hoping not to. I'm hoping PayPal just.
What is the disadvantage to rolling them? Let's say it hit 59 on Friday. Friday 3 p.m. You're like, all right, I got an hour before they get called away. It's at 59.
So you got to make that decision about 1 or 2 p.m. If not, the only thing they'll let you do at that point is buy to close. They won't allow you to roll anymore because there's
So can you give me the upside and downside to rolling, or is there no downside to rolling?
So there is. If you are bullish on the stock and you think it's going to continue to go up, you're going to make a lot more money on capital appreciation, on share price appreciation versus the peanuts that they're giving you. The crumbs are the premiums, right? The loaf of bread is the capital appreciation. So the downside of a covered call is that if you leave the contract as is, and if those shares moon to $69, for instance, I'm leaving a lot of money on the table potentially. That's the downside of a covered call in general.
Right.
The upside is if the shares stay flat or they go down a little bit and you've already decided that you're long and strong on these stocks anyway, you're going to ride the emotional roller coaster. You're at least bringing some money through the door to endure that pain.
So walk me through this. Let's say Friday, 1 p.m., the stock's at 59. What do you do this week?
Then I will buy to close that covered call. So if they gave me $620 in premiums, I'm going to pay back whatever the market is. If it's 500, if it's less than 620, I win on that little part of the trade. But if it's over 620, I'm going to give those monies back. But I'm going to turn around and sell another covered call to bring more monies to offset the monies that I just gave back.
Okay, so to summarize, rolling is giving back the premium. So you're just left with the shares, and then you do a cover call for next week, essentially.
Right. So you buy to close, and then you sell to open again.
Gotcha.
Well, what he's saying is
a lot of people out there saying, "Oh, you don't want to do covered calls because you can leave all this money on the table." Well, yeah, if you're a fucking idiot and you don't follow the wheel deal, that's what would happen to you. But if you understand the mechanics of selling puts, selling calls, and more importantly, rolling, that's the secret sauce. That's the silver bullet to the whole strategy. then why wouldn't you want to bring some money through the door? You got to get paid to own these shares, bro. You got to. In this market, dude, in these macro where shit could hit the fan, you know, some asshole announces, oh, we're going to go 50 bibs just to see what that's like, or whatever the case may be. Another bank folds or something. I feel like there's more headwinds than tailwinds in the market right now. So I got to bring some premiums through the door. But that's just me. You know, I mean, everybody's got to push their buttons and live with their results.
And I should just give a quick disclaimer real quick, Carlos, that no one should do this, including myself, until you fully understand this. This stuff is very complicated. So, you know,
it's also his
TJ
full-time job. Understand that,
Yes.
like, he's not passive. This is This is an active investor. This is a guy who is actively making money on the markets on a daily basis, who actually needs to bring in money. You need to bring.
You know, he also has investors. He raised this money for his investors.
Yeah, so
just his
it's
money.
not. He's not fucking around, guys. Like, he's not some
Yeah,
guy.
those are full disclaimers for sure, guys. So, but my thing again, guys, I can't. I mean, I feel like I'm beating a dead horse, but in my situation, I just cannot afford to own shares of a company, especially when the market sentiment is so bad. I got to bring some premiums through the door. That way I can lower my adjusted cost basis, because if not, how am I going to protect myself to the downside?
All right, TJ, let me bring someone else up on stage. We got someone else
real
in the
quick,
background.
real quick. Wait, I just want to ask a question about this. Okay, so you're saying, let's just say PayPal's bringing you $2,000 a month.
Right.
Let's just say you didn't spend. Let's say you spent whatever, $100,000. But now let's just say you never have to roll. You've just been making money on this. Now you get to a point where you're at break even. You have made $100,000 in premium, and it cost you $100,000. Your effective cost basis is zero.
Right.
What do you do with the stock at that point? Do you just let it ride at that point? Say,
It just depends on your investment thesis. Like, ideally, guys, in a perfect world, if I could draw it up, I would like to be able to sell covered calls on PayPal until it gets to about $100, and I like to exit stage left with a nice profit.
So you'll continue to sell the covered calls against them to continue
and increase my strike price following the stock the whole way.
Until it hits $100 a share, and then you sell the entire position.
Provided that's what makes sense for my portfolio. Because I'm not super bullish on PayPal. This is a trade.
Yeah.
This is a trade. This isn't SoFi where I'm going to ride this thing out to it's 50 billion or 100 billion. It's a whole different deal, right? I've watched way too many videos of you guys on SoFi, so I formulated an opinion along the way. On PayPal, I'm unsure, but I'm excited. I'm cautiously optimistic. How about that?
Well, that's good. I was just curious what you would do once, essentially, you know, you're playing with the house's money. The shares were given to you. You know, I look at it like an apartment building. Somebody was asking in the chat, you're buying a house, and the premiums are paying the rent. And then once the house is paid off, it's all profit. And then you can sell the house at a certain point. When it goes up enough, you can just turn around and sell it. Okay?
Exactly.
Let me bring someone else up on stage.
Man. I gotta run. I actually have to get on another pod. But man, I appreciate each and every one of you guys. Hey, real quickly, Vegas, baby, Vegas. At the end of the month, we're gonna.
Well, this is why I was gonna bring this guy up, because he's coming to Vegas with us.
Vegas, dude. What's up, guys?
Thank you.
Hey.
See you later.
Thanks, TJ.
Garcia, the man, the myth, the legend. We finally see you in person. What's up,
I've never
man?
seen you in person.
How are you guys doing?
We're doing well. How are you doing?
Good. Just here watching
get out of here.
Who's that?
Oh, it's my son, Isaac.
What's up, Isaac?
Hi.
How old is he? 2, 3?
He's 1.5 right now.
Oh, it's a good age. It's a good age. 1.5. Has the inner demon come out yet?
Oh yeah, dude.
Beautiful.
There'll be small bursts of, you know, like he's doing his little tantrums, trying to throw himself on the floor. But no, it's awesome, man.
It's
like
crazy how they change. Yeah.
Fatherhood has been amazing. So yeah.
First question, Garcia, are you excited for Vegas?
Oh, dude, I'm super excited, man. The only thing is I am flying Spirit, and I'm a little nervous because I've heard stories about, you know, that airline being shady and people fighting in the plane. And
you saw that video that went viral with that woman, the woman on Spirit. I got Spirit, right? She kicked off the couple. Kicked a couple off.
I got two pieces of advice for you. Number one, get a small bag as possible. These guys are very serious about their carry-on bag situation, right? So that's number one. And number two, don't look anyone in the eye. They just want a reason to fuck with you. So if you don't look at them in the eye, they can't do anything. That's it. That's not just like
sunglasses.
You know.
You gotta wear sunglasses at an airport.
And I'll teach you one. I'll teach you one thing you gotta say to de-escalate.
He just fell. Hold on.
Yeah.
He's about to kill somebody.
Daddy duties. Gotta be daddy duties.
Bro,
I did Spirit once, and
Can you mute?
Yeah, I just muted him. I did Spirit once, and it was tough. I was going to Texas. It was tough.
It's brutal, but that's they're one of the cheapest airlines. That's what you're paying for.
I was
They'll
paying
get
for
you
it.
there. They'll get you there, but you almost better off FedExing yourself.
Well, dude, when I got the flight, I forgot to put in for a carry-on bag. I assumed that it was part of the ticket. I checked the website. They say $75. I can't do it online. I call customer service, and they say, "Oh, it's going to be $175 to add a carry-on flight."
It's like half the ticket. Like,
That's
I'm like,
basically
fuck that, dude. So I hung up and I went back onto the website, and it ended up working out. But they're just trying to get an extra $100 off of me just to add a carry-on bag.
that's insane.
Mhm.
That's insane.
No, but
that's what
just
they
wanted to
do,
show
man.
up, for a bit to, show you guys
Hang
that
out
I
with
am
the
real.
boys.
And
Yeah.
Where are you flying
man,
from?
Look forward to it.
from California,
Oh,
from
okay.
Anaheim. Yeah, Anaheim, California.
Okay. Yeah. Well, you're about an hour or so south for me.
Mhm.
So how did you discover the pod, and like when did you start kind of getting into the whole thing?
Oh man, I honestly can't recall like how it is I found you guys, but clicked on the stream and saw you guys were talking finance, and it's been awesome. I play you guys all the time, and my wife says, "Oh, are you gonna hang out with the fellas today?" And I'm like, "Yeah, just have them on the pod out right now."
Just
So
talking shit in the background.
yeah.
What stocks do you watch for us to be talking about? Like, what stocks are important to you that we discuss?
Oh man, I only have 4 that I have. I have Enphase, Tesla, Palantir, and SoFi. So those are the 4 that I'm kind of sticking with for now. And then I have options on PayPal and on TQQQ.
Okay.
Did you sell the $16 leaps you had on Palantir that you told me about?
Yes. Yeah. So kind of in the middle of the big drop, I kind of realized, okay, I'm way too exposed to leaps on my portfolio. It was like 50% of my portfolio. So had I kept them, my portfolio would have dropped so bad. So I ended up consolidating my portfolio, sold the leaps for more shares. And I kind of reduced my exposure to leaps by a lot. So, but, as soon as we hit extreme fear, I started buying up more TQQQ calls. Yeah, I know I did. Yeah. I'm sure you saw it when it was blood red. Yeah. But yeah, and I just wanted to come on, just to thank you guys for doing what you do.
No, man, we appreciate you. It's gonna be fun. It's cool meeting people in person, and obviously
Garcia, open a 529 for your son. I'll put some money towards it.
Thank you.
I do that for all my relatives right now, like all my nieces and nephews. Like I told the parents, like, open a 529 in whatever state you're in, and instead of giving like huge birthday presents, I'm just gonna give them money, because I'm sure that they'll appreciate it when they're 18 years old and all that money is accumulated for them, and they're able to pay off college without any single worry. Dude, that's like the best gift in the world,
Yeah.
And anyone could put money towards it, by the way. It's not like you have to be a family member or whatever. And there's websites now that actually let you directly do it very easily. So it's almost like, how like we go on a Patreon and we sign up and we could just have it automatically debited. So I have it like automatically debited on my niece's birthday. So every birthday she just gets like, I think $500 or $1,000, whatever, and it just gets debited from my account without me even having to worry about it.
That's so dope.
And that's the new spin on the whole. Put the link in the chat. It's like, put the link to
my kids 529 in the chat.
529 in the chat.
Yeah.
All right, Garcia. Thank you for joining, man. We will see you soon in Vegas. It'll be fun.
All right. Bye, guys.
Thank you for supporting, man. Talk later. Bye. All right. I think that's it for us today. Anyone?
There's one thing. What we're
one more day
seeing
in
for
the
the
week.
rest of the market, that we were all talking about this before you guys got on, because everyone's kind of curious. So I don't think today's rally is a dead cat bounce. Like some people are thinking, oh, this is dead cat bounce. I think this is an early sign of where inflation is heading. I think right now we're in a massive disinflationary spiral that's coming our way. A lot of people keep saying inflation for longer, but every data point that I look at keeps suggesting that we're headed towards disinflation. And once it starts to come, the entire narrative is going to change. And once the narrative changes, that's when a lot of the beaten down companies and the stocks and sectors that have been hit pretty hard by this inflation narrative, they're going to start to make a recovery.
They'll wake
right
up.
now is a good time to just basically just chill out, relax, and do well. You know,
so if you're a Christian, this is the part where like they went into the cave and they slept for 3 days, and after that they were resurrected. So
I guess I'm not a Christian.
Around Halloween,
yeah,
around Halloween, these stocks will come back.
yeah. I think we do have a good rally the rest of this year. I think we get a Santa Claus rally. You know, I'm not. Yeah, go ahead.
No, I was just saying. I think what we're seeing is retail. I think this is a lot of retail massively buying the dip. I just think I personally have never heard more of my friends interested in the stock market than I have after 2020. Hey, there was a lot of stimulus money people wanted to play, and so I think what we're seeing is, like you said, I don't think it's a dead cat bounce. I think it's retail buying.
Also, the jobs report was great. We got 89,000 jobs, 100,000 less than expected. It's contrary to the JOLTS report.
The problem right now that most equities are going to have is that with the current 10-year treasury and the 2-year treasury trading so low in terms of bond value that the yield has jumped. So a lot of insurance funds, a lot of even a lot of investors, they can get a pretty good return in just keeping their money in a cash level position, right? Or in a 2-year treasury and just keep rolling it, or a 1-year treasury and just roll it. So the thing is, the incentive to go out there and look for companies that are paying good dividends, that are generating cash flows, is not there. Because if you can get a safe 5% return, why the hell are you going to try to risk it in the market? So most people are sated with the current return they're getting in treasuries. The problem is, once you start hitting a deflationary spiral, that messaging is going to come across the news headlines like, oh my God, there's actually deflation. And that's when everyone is going to start dumping their treasury. Well, not dumping their treasuries, but pretty much buying up the bonds in the market and then lowering the yields, because everyone's going to start doing yield chasing. Now, the thing is, the people that are going to be doing the yield chasing, they have some minimums that they need to maintain. So if you look at I think insurance funds and pension funds, they need about 7% to keep up with membership benefits, that they have. So the question is, what are they going to do? They can't live with a 2% treasury. Like it's just won't work for them. Right now, they can get away with having a significant amount of their portfolio in a 5.5 treasury 2-year, and that's fine. That meets their investing goals with a little bit of risk adjusted onto the equity side. But what's going to happen is a lot of companies right now, especially that are dividend aristocrats that have strong proven cash flows over a long period of time, and they have growing cash flows that are a little bit on the capital intensive side, they're the ones that are going to benefit significantly going into 2024 and 25, because what's going to happen is the cost of capital for them to borrow is going to go down. And at the same time, that's going to enhance their profitability, which means now they can return more of that capital to shareholders via either share buybacks or dividends. So right now, there's no reason why Verizon should be trading as low as it is. There's no reason why AMT should be trading as low as what it is right now. Same thing with Crown Castle. So the positioning for us right now is to be looking for companies that have strong, repeatable cash flows that are near monopolies, but have a shit ton of debt on their balance sheets, because those are the companies that have been sold off the most and that are going to be impacted by high interest rates. But in a low interest rate scenario that could be coming up thanks to AI and the deflation caused by AI, it's a no-brainer, because after that, there's 2 main things to remember with anything with technological revolutions. When technological revolutions happen, they have a way of enhancing productivity and lowering cost for goods and services. So when that comes around, it causes deflation. That's why for the last 10 years, even with the Fed printing all this money and doing a shit ton of QE, we still had low inflation rates. It's only the last 2 years that we really had to deal with high inflation, and that was primarily because of supply chain issues. Once those things are resolving right now, you're going to see a transition back to a lower rate environment. So no, that's what I'm going to say about it.
He's like, give me a mic.
Yeah.
All right. That makes sense.
Well, that was good. That was good. I got a jet. I had to go pick up the kiddo.
Later, guys.
All right, everybody. Thank you all for joining. We will see you guys tomorrow, 7 p.m.
Thank you. 311 people. Hit like, subscribe, follow us on X. See you tomorrow.
See you tomorrow, guys. Bye-bye.